Hello everybody, it's Cobalt here, and welcome back to another video. Today's video, I am going to be attempting to head swap a Generation 3 LPS with a Generation 1 or 2 LPS. This isn't technically a tutorial, but if you're watching this video, it means that I succeeded, and maybe you can follow along the steps that I'm trying out. I've never done this before, but I have this really perfect idea for a custom, and I need, well, technically, I would love to have a Siberian Husky LPS, which is this base figure, but you should all know that they're expensive as hell, and there's no way that I'm buying one to customize. So instead, I decided to compromise and purchase this G3 LPS. Its head is very, very similar. I just need its head. Its body is awful. I'm going to be head swapping this guy's head onto a Great Dane body, and we are going to see how that works. All right, so once again, here is the LPS. It is a Generation 3 Husky. As far as G3 LPS go, this one's actually pretty cute because it has relatively normal eyes. The only problem is G3 LPS have the worst bodies. I mean, look at this. Its legs are so skinny and it literally doesn't even have feet. They're just little nubs that point to nothing. What happened to this poor dog? Somebody chopped its paws off. So first things first, we're going to take off its head. Or we're just gonna break it. Oh my god, hang on. Let me go get my boiling water. Alright, so I put this water in the microwave for about 3 minutes, which means that it is very, very hot. And I have the Great Dane, whose body we are going to be using, and the head so that I can get the little ball socket out of it. So I think that they should be warmed up enough. See, it's very, very squishy now. And it just pulls right out like that, and we do not need that anymore, so we can just throw it over here. And I'm going to set the head aside for it to cool down, and we are going to use this Great Dane now. So for the Great Dane, of course, we are going to be using its body for the swap, but the main thing that I want from this LPS is its neck plug. So I think he is warmed up enough. By now, I'm going to take him out and move our water aside. Alright, so now we're going to rip this guy's head off. So basically, when I do an LPS head swap, I typically take my 2 fingers and place them right here so that the neck plug does not pull out of the head when I pull off the body. But for this guy, we do want to pull the neck plug out of the head. This is obviously a fake LPS, so I'm going to be a bit more careful than normal since their neck plugs can be a bit fragile at times. So let's just... Alright, so obviously the body came off first. This is also very interesting. This is a fake LPS, obviously. It is just a blank base. This one does have a clear neck plug, so fakes are starting to come with clear neck plugs now, so just keep an eye out for that. Alright, so since we got the body pulled off to the side, I'm just going to put this out of the way. Also, because we aren't going to need that for a while. The main thing that we need is the neck plug, and the head is still squishy, but it is getting a lot harder, so we're going to put it back in our water. And just for a little comparison test to see what the head will look like on the body, it is going to look something like this. So I think that it looks really cool and will work really, really well for the character that I am planning on making. Honestly, the head fits perfectly as it does, just a little hole onto the neck, but obviously we want it to bobble like a normal LPS, and we do want this guy to actually have a neck instead of just, you know, a head attached to a body like this. Alright, so I grabbed out a few tools that I think will be helpful. First off are these little scissors. I believe these are sewing scissors, but they're very, very small and super sharp. Then we have these pliers for pulling out the neck plug or sticking it back in. And then I have these 2 clay tools. My clay tools are disgusting, but they both have a sharp edge, so maybe I can use these to either, you know, make the hole wider on this one or just help cut out the neck plug, because the neck plug is glued into the head, so we want to dissolve the glue and get it out. Alright, so the guy's been sitting in the water for a while. His head is very, very squishy, as you can see, and we are going to try to pull this all the way out. I also don't want to accidentally pull this part out of the head and break it entirely, so let's try that. Just gonna sort of stick this pointy tool in here to try to break the glue and wedge it loose. Alright, as you can see, it's starting to break off on this side, so I'm just going to grab it by the edge with my pliers and pull it out like that. So this guy no longer has a neck plug. He's just an empty head, lost to oblivion, never to be used again. And now we have the neck plug that we came here for. But now let's do a little comparison. So as you can see, it does not fit here, so we are going to have to cut this part to be bigger. But just in case, before we try to stick this plug in here, I do want to try something. This LPS mouse has a much smaller neck plug than, say, a Great Dane, because its head and body are a lot smaller. And as you can see, the hole in here is very, very small. So maybe if I try this neck plug, I can just fit it in without having to cut the opening bigger. So I am going to try that, and then we will see our options. Ow. I just stabbed myself through the top of its head, whoops. Oh my god, okay, so I don't know why this one was way harder to get out, but it's out, and I've got little tiny chunks of plastic everywhere because I basically destroyed it, but it should still work. So as you can see, here's the Great Dane one, and here is the one for the mouse. They are different sizes, and the holes at the front are also different. Honestly, if I soften this up enough, I might be able to shove this in here. We'll try it out. Alright, the husky head is back in the water, and this time I put the water in the microwave for 5 minutes, so it is extra hot, and we're just gonna let this soak in here so that we can shove this into the hole. That sounds really bad. Okay, LPS soup. Alright, I think I've drowned the head for long enough. Let's pull it out. Oh my god, look at how squishy that is. That's insane. Okay. Oh, it's working. I didn't even have to cut the hole. Okay, this is cool. This is cool. So now the hard part is just getting this part past the lip of the plastic without shoving it all the way into the head, because then that makes things really complicated. Its head is flattening though, which is really weird. Alright, so technically I got it to work, except I don't know exactly what is happening to the head. I think maybe the heat, and then, you know, shoving this in here has caused some sort of pressurization and has destroyed the shape. I'm gonna poke a hole in the bottom to see if that helps. Okay, yeah, the head is going back to normal. That is super strange. Alright, so I think the issue is probably that there was water inside of the head, and that it was just cooling off. I'm not sure, but I fixed that problem, got the plug in, and so I'm just going to take some super glue and glue around the edges, making sure not to get any inside the actual bobble mechanism so that that stays inside the head, and then I will let that dry overnight, and then I will attach it to the body. Alright, I am back. I've been letting the head dry all day. As you can see, it looks pretty good, and you can definitely tell that the glue is dry. I definitely used way too much glue, but I wanted to make sure that it was well secure because I have been hurt before. Currently behind me, of course, I have the body soaking in the hot water so that we can do the head swap. I do have a head swap tutorial on my channel already, but this will kind of reiterate what I've already said in that video. So we're going to take out the body. When you do a head swap, you don't want to put the head back in the water, just the body, because you just want that part to be soft. And then I take my pliers and I sort of open up the neck hole a little bit, and then I tested it already. It should be secure. We're going to very carefully get this in here, and hopefully it will work. Kind of just gotta slowly work it in. I would be pushing a lot harder, but I don't want to break the neck plug, and I of course don't want to shove it back into the head and erase all the hard work that we've already done. Using pliers also definitely helps, because as you can see, there's still a little bit of a lip up here above the neck, so I sort of grab part of it with the pliers to try to just work it in there. Okay, I mean, it's in, but his head is all lopsided. Not entirely sure why that is. Since the head is a little bit wonky, I'm just going to position it where I want it. This looks good. Now what we're going to do is stick the LPS in the freezer. Basically, the whole point of doing that is just to harden the plastic back up so that it's good to go, and then I can make sure that everything has worked successfully with the neck plug transplant and the head swap. Alright, I have retrieved the LPS from the freezer. The plastic has now hardened back up. As you can see, I can't really bend the legs anymore, and the head is bobbling. It's attached, it's moving. It's still a little bit lopsided. I think that's probably because I possibly damaged the neck plug when I was pulling it out. I'm very rough when doing that. I'm sure there's many other better ways to do it, but that's just the way that I personally do it. Again, this was my very first time ever trying this, and I'm so happy that it worked. This opens up so many awesome possibilities for customs, because while G3 LPS are super ugly, some of them do actually have nice heads, like this LPS. At least from the front, it has a really great ear shape, it's got a cool eye shape, and it is, again, very similar to the Siberian LPS Husky head. So if you are possibly looking for one of those LPS to do a head swap, this is a really great compromise, and this step is very easy, and I didn't even have to make the hole wider. I just had to use one from a mouse LPS. So let's just have a moment of silence for this poor little man who has now sacrificed his brain for this LPS. He's dead. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!